From an early age, anxiety was always in the picture. From being dragged to therapy to feeling so empty, every day seemed like a struggle. It was like I was in a nightmare, and I couldn't wake up from it. Hands often trembling, feet shaking, whole body quivering. Nothing felt right, and I often questioned, is this really happening? The question, am I going to be okay, never left my mind. The challenge of anxiety still remains within me all the time. However, it started with my nanny. She left this earth 9 years ago, and it was a sudden and tragic death. She was a very healthy older woman, and she had a little bit of pneumonia, and 3 days later, she had passed away. She could light up any room she walked into, as she was filled with so much life, spice, and charisma. Questions constantly spurred my mind after she passed. How could someone be so healthy and then suddenly pass so quickly? This made me extremely anxious. I struggled with this all throughout middle school, but what really helped me overcome it and not ruminate over this idea time and time again was the idea of exercise. I turned to exercise as a coping mechanism. I was determined to fight through the pain, no matter how difficult it was. I also turned to studying and tried to be the best student I could be. During my high school years, anxiety was, of course, still in the picture. But exercise, determination, and perseverance was in the picture as well. I turned to different mechanisms, such as kickboxing, lifting, yoga, and core. I would fight through the pain, the angst, the nerves, and ultimately kick anxiety's ass. When it was time to take my road test during high school, I had an anxiety attack. The pressure got to me, and the test did not seem feasible. So what ended up happening? Well, I failed, but I did not let anxiety take over my life. I let determination take over my life. I had a mission and I was going to accomplish it. The next day, I got in my car and practiced. I took my road test 2 weeks later and passed. I did not let my nerves get in the way. Instead, I took 2 deep breaths and just let it happen. I pictured myself doing yoga and ultimately kicking anxiety's ass once again. When I got to college, social anxiety kicked in. However, exercise and storytelling really helped control my anxiety. I worked my butt off first semester and transferred into the Newhouse School of Public Communications, which was a dream and a goal of mine. I wanted to tell people stories, whether they were feel-good stories or not. I wanted to be the one to share someone else's story. Because I felt that health was so important and it helped me conquer my anxiety, I wanted to tell a story about a college young adult who struggled with anorexia. I was brave enough to tell the story without letting my own feelings get in the way. Please see a few video clips of her story.
I remember looking at myself and looking at every other kid and being like, what is wrong with me? Why do I look like this and these other kids are so skinny? Within those 6 months, I went from, I want to say, 120 pounds to 76.
This is what Lib Madelon faced when she was only 13 years old. Sharing other people's stories made me feel more comfortable to tell my own story in this bio video. Again, I wanted to tell people's stories and make something out of it. I shared the story of a girl who was abducted as I interviewed Jim Sleeper. This was a very difficult topic for me to uncover and, of course, brought up major angst. But I was determined to get the facts out and share his mission with the public. Please see the videos of the story.
By the way, I'm wearing the colors on Sarah's shirt when she went missing was a teal blue and a pink.
As the 25th anniversary of the disappearance of Sarah Ann Wood approaches, the issue of child safety is front and center in the community. Sarah was 12 years old when she was abducted in upstate New York. Local resident Jim Sleeper is part of the Bicycle Ride for Missing Children, an organization that raises money and awareness for missing and exploited children in central New York. I sure have seen darkness for quite a while. However, anxiety has not prevented me from persevering and overcoming the challenges I have faced. I am happy I am able to tell my story and tell others while exercising and seeing light at the end of the tunnel.